Hey, what's up, Algebra 2 students? Alright, so if you're watching this, I'm off campus today, and so what I want to talk about is, first things first, you should have completed your ultimate guide to graphing linear equations or graphing linear functions. It was levels 1 through 4. That should have only taken you about 45 minutes. Okay, now at this point what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and we're going to do a special little project to hopefully finish out the class. So, let me just kind of demonstrate, or let me show you my picture. So we see here, I'm going to give you graph paper, and y'all notice that I have, I'm backwards here, but I have 6 equations kind of right up here, and I've graphed all of these 6 equations, and I've tried to make kind of a, kind of an intentional and, pretty picture, right? We can all see my green shaded hexagon in the middle where I have my solution region. So what am I going to be asking you to do? So let's see, what am I going to be asking you to do? Here we go. So, we have the big project rubric. You will create your own art by making a system of inequalities. The rubric that I will use to evaluate your project is shown below. Okay, so y'all can see here in this very first column, we have content. 100% of the equations are graphed correctly. This will give you 3 points. 75% of the equations are graphed correctly. That will give you 2. 50% of the equations are graphed correctly. That will give you 1. And none of the equations are graphed correctly. That will give you 0 points. So let's just kind of go back to my example, which I have right here. Y'all can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. And if you were to look at them all, they are all graphed correctly. So I would go ahead and score 3 total points. How about creativity? The art is visually appealing, multicolored, and shaded appropriately. Well, y'all, the art is visually appealing is very subjective. Some of y'all are absolute artists, and y'all would consider this, not that appealing. But y'all can see that I put a little bit of effort in there to make a shape. And so, so long as I can tell that you put in effort, you are going to get credit. Lastly, the complexity. Use this to get full points. You'll have to use 6 or more inequalities, with 1 being in standard form. Let's take a look. So I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inequalities. However, none of mine are in standard form. And what is standard form? Well, that's where the x and the y are all on one side. So let's kind of recap. You are going to be given some graph paper. It's going to be on the table over here to your left by my whiteboard. And what are you going to really do? So I've kind of pulled up just kind of a blank space here. Well, you're going to do something along these lines. You're going to take your graph paper, and I would sketch this out on your own notebook paper first so you can get a rough idea. But somehow, some way, you're going to put an XY axis, and then you are going to use lines to create some shape. So let's say, for example, I wanted to create a square. I was happy with getting just 1 point in the number of inequalities. Well, I could draw one line right here. Let's say that's at 1, 2, 3. And we all know, hey, that line right there is going to be, let's call it y is less than 3. Less than or equal to. And then let's say I wanted to use a different colored pencil, 1, 2, 3, and I wanted to draw something like this. I would say, well, you know what, this is going to be y is greater than or equal to 3. And let's say that I wanted to cut it off on the edges. So let's see, here's 1, 2, and I'm going to draw a dashed line this time. Okay, and let's say, what is this? This is going to be x is greater than -2, something like that. Oh, by the way, hopefully you caught my mistake. I put a -3 right there. But long story short, I'm beginning to build a picture. All right, I could go ahead and do this dark blue, +2, kind of do the same thing on the other side. And we're saying, you know what, that line right there is x is less than +2. And where would all my shading go? Well, I'm going to shade everything to the left there. For that kind of bluish green line, actually, I'm going to shade everything to the right there. And then for my purple line, I'm going to shade everything, let's make it a little bit more magenta, or whatever this color is called, shade everything below. And for this orange line, I'd kind of shade everything above. And you'll notice this isn't super pretty, and it's kind of hard to tell where the overlapping shaded region is. But we can see it's underneath this line, it's to the left of that line, it's above that line, and it's there. And you would just color in your shaded region with an entirely different color. So I've made kind of a funky square. Well, the sky's the limit. You can go ahead and you can draw your lines however you want, so long as you show me what the inequalities are, and your grade, however many points that you get, let's go back to our little rubric, your grade will be multiplied by 12. So in my example, I had a 3, and a 2. One more time, a 3, and a 2. And so that would be 8 total points. 8 times 12 is 96. And so all I'm really asking you to do is go ahead and just make yourself, kind of a pretty multicolored picture. And you will get points towards your test grade. All right? So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please go ahead and email me at whastings@dallasisd.org. All right? And y'all have a wonderful rest of the day.